Yo guys, it's JJ here, and today I'm going to be taking you guys through a Sleazyworld Go beat for his up and coming album, where the Shooters beat. And this beat I'll be taking you guys will be kind of like, Creepers, Sleazyworld Go flow, you know what I'm saying, like his biggest popping songs at the moment. And of course, all of these have been produced by a producer called Ragesantana, or Baby Ragesantana, one or the other, either or. The guy's making fire stuff, very simple, straight to the point, and it does the job. So let's just get into this. First of all, when it comes to Sleazyworld Go beats, as you can see, I've got my BPM at 148. However, I will say that the tempo ranges between usually 140 to 150, maybe pushing high 150s as well, but that's what I'd really advise, though, the 140 to 150 range. As for the first instrument slash VST, we've got ourselves the Piano V2, and we're using a preset called American Large Studio, which is my go-to preset. And one thing to let you guys know about Sleazyworld Go beats is that a majority of them, especially his really popping ones again, piano based. Very simple, but very, very catchy. So I'll show you what I've made. As you guys can see, it's a nice little repeating pattern using a minor chord and a diminished minor. And then it continues with that whole aesthetic, apart from the root note just progressively lowering itself towards the latter half of the loop. So as you guys can see, very basic. Every half beat, it just plays the chord. And as well as that, I've got a little bit of filler notes here and there, these little like transitioning note kind of things. And there's no root notes, nothing below. It's very, very simple. I've gone through his beats, I've gone through his songs, and I've noticed they don't really have like many lower octave keys. It's just very, very straightforward. And as well as that, of course, you want to click Alt-S to strum the notes so it sounds more human. And then of course you want to click Alt-R, and then that'll allow you to randomize the velocity. And then if I were you, click Control-A and then use your scroller wheel to lower it a bit, because what that does is like gives it like a little softer touch, and that's what I've kind of got from his aesthetic, because it gives it a bit more of like a darker feel, a bit more of like a murder vibe, if that makes sense, because we're making murder music out here. So without further ado, this is what the piano sounds like. And there you have it, guys. As you can see, very, very dark, very mysterious, kind of murder music vibes. And it's perfectly fitting this whole Sleazyworld Go aesthetic. As for effects, we've got ourselves a nice little EQ, cutting off a lot of the lows and just a few frequencies I wasn't a fan of. And then as well as that, just a very basic reverb. Nothing much. You just want to keep this beat simple, and this includes the mix. Like, don't even overthink this. And then on top of that, I just stereo separated this like 23% just to stereoize the sound a bit. Next up, we got ourselves another pattern which includes the same preset and VST. And this pattern is lower octave keys. And now you may be thinking, oh, you're contradicting yourself. But wait, this is a very, very light textural element. It doesn't really come in often, and it's very, very far back in the mix instead of being in the forefront, where you'll find usually most dark trap beats have like these really grand keys, lower octaves playing in the forefront. This is very far in the back, very like ambient-esque kind of element, and I thought it really, really gave a bit more to the melody. Following the root notes, as you guys can see, and there's not much more to it, so this is what it sounds like. And there we have it, very basic, very simple, but great. Now, as for effects, we got ourselves a very basic EQ, a basic fruity delay, as you guys can see, and these are the presets that I used. And then on top of that, a bit of reverb, to make the sound a bit more ambient. And then as you guys can see, because it's not in the forefront, I really did stereo separate this around like 56%, a nice little textural elements in the back. And now, for the last component of the melody, we've got ourselves a preset from Expand 2, and this preset is String Voice from the Soft Pans Bank. And as you guys can see, very, very basic. It's the same chord progression as before with the piano in the first pattern. And as you guys can see, it's not playing every half beat, it's just playing the whole, like every beat. That's all that really needs to be said. And this is what it sounds like. As you guys can see, the sound's very ambient, and the reason I like it a lot as well is because it's kind of like a mix of a string and a choir, and I really thought, again, it added to the whole darkness of the whole Sleazyworld Go vibe, so that's why I have it in there. As for effects, the first thing I've got on the mixer chain is a side chain called a Shaper Box 2, and it's just like a volume automation at 45% mix, and that just allows the sound to have like this little swelling effect. On top of that, we've got ourselves a very basic EQ, all the lows cut off, and last but not least, we've got ourselves a decently heavy reverb. And then as for mixing in the stereo world, we've got it stereo separated at 72% because it's a textural element. And now, without further ado, this is the whole melody. And there you have it. Very, very simple, very straightforward, does the job. And again, I can't emphasize enough how simple this is. It's literally, the pad is like a layer of the piano, and then the lower octave keys is just following the root notes of the first melody. It's very simple with these kind of beats, like really don't overthink it, it's that good. Now onto the drums. We're first starting off with a perk instead of using a clap, because I've noticed again you'll find a few perks throughout these kind of Sleazyworld Go vibes, and I've got myself a nice little pattern with a bit of variation towards the latter of the 4-bar loop, and that's all that needs to be said. So this is what the perk sounds like. And there you have it. Now we're on to the open hat, the next pattern within the drums, and as you guys can see, very straightforward, very simple. It's just a repeating 2-bar pattern. Again, with these kind of beats, it's just like you're downplaying it a bit. You're like kind of like your general just trap beat, you know, very, very basic standard, but that's what Sleazyworld Go goes for. So, you know what I mean? That's what we gotta do. So this is what the open hat sounds like. And there you have it. Now, as for the 808, again, very basic pattern, but what else did you expect? So, as you can see, very nice repeating pattern. Hits every beginning of like the 2-bar kind of thing loop, and I just let it follow down the root notes. Very, very straightforward. And as well as that, what I did was click Control A and use my scroller wheel to max the velocities, because you want these 808s to be knocking different. That's the whole point of making a trap beat. That's the whole point of making a Sleazyworld Go beat. That's the whole point of just production. We want them 808s to be hitting different, so don't forget. And of course, this is what the pattern sounds like. And there you have it. Next up, of course, you guys have the kick pattern. Very simple, as you guys can see. It just follows the 808 pattern. And of course, I've maxed the velocities. 3 words, never forget. And without further ado, this is what the kick sounds like. I don't think you guys want to hear the rest. We already know what this sounds like. Now, next up, we're on to the hi-hat pattern. And this is quite essential for these kind of beats, in my opinion, especially the Sleazyworld Go beats that we're going through today. So it kind of had like a weird mix between drill and trap in the sense of the hi-hat pattern. For example, as you guys can see, it's kind of got like a drill pattern, because if you take your tool and make it on 1/3 step, it literally fits in the little sections here that gives you that drill bounce. But then it'll also go back to the regular hi-hat pattern and then have a bit more drill bounce to it. It's a really weird mix. However, when you hear the hi-hat pattern, you'll know what I mean, and you'll get like a general understanding of what I'm on about. And to make sure you guys really, really get what I'm trying to get at, as you guys can see, it's not too complex. It's just a 2-bar being looped over. Again, as I said, for the millionth time, these beats are very simple. Do not overthink this. So with all my rambling, this is what the hi-hat pattern sounds like. And there you have it. And now, last but not least, we got ourselves like a nice little DY triangle, the trap triangle, the Lord and Savior trap triangle itself. We've all heard it before, and you'll hear it now. And it just repeats every 4-bar. Very simple, straightforward, and here we are. Wow. So now, with all that being said about your amazing drum pattern that is definitely not complicated because it's really that simple, this is what the drum sounds like. And there you have it. And as you guys can see, the drums knock really well. It's very simple, but it does the job just tremendously well. And of course, when paired together with the melody, you have a really great beat that will go super, super dope for Sleazyworld Go's album, you know, where shooters be, as you've seen by the title of the thumbnail, of course. But without further ado, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all that stuff down below. So, without further ado, thanks for watching and peace.